Good afternoon, everyone. This is Saleha, and you are watching Chai Chat and Community. Tonight, we have a special time because Raj is on call. So, we are going to finish this off pretty quickly. And we are going to be chatting about allergies, the causes, and how to prevent it. This is the last webcast of the year, and joining me tonight is Dr. Raj Killan, who has recently been awarded the Australian of the Year Victoria. So, congratulations. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Uh, but before we delve into the subjects, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting tonight, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Hi, Raj, and thank you once again for always jumping in and sharing your knowledge with the community. So I know you are on call, so we will make it quick. I don't want a phone call to come when we start.
Yeah,
So we are talking about allergies tonight.
yeah.
So, in simple terms, what is an allergy and what causes it? And especially because Melbourne has been having such terrible weather, different weathers in one day.
Yes, that's true. Look, allergy in a very simple term, if we take in a layman language, is something your body is reacting to, something foreign antigen which is causing causing a your body to react to. So, like you can say, someone in a very simple way, someone any enemy is attacking your country and your army is trying to protect you and your country. So the same way, so these there are different foreign allergens which may be in any form and trying to attack your body, and your body reactions, your body army is trying to fight back that antigen. So whenever this fight happen in any war, the damage happen to you also, not always to the enemy. It's the same way our body army, the protective mechanism, the whole immune system, allergy system, try to react against these antigens, these foreign antigens, and that's why our body react differently to different antigens. The antigen could be in form of food. There could be various form of food. It could be in form of plants. It could be in form of pollens, or it could be just simple fragrance, food, coloring agents, and preservative. And it can be various form of chemicals which we use in our daily life in different forms, like even the nickel watches and the women jewelries that can also cause allergic reaction.
I remember my daughter wearing a kara, and the kara caused a lot of allergy. Yes, she used to, her arms used to be all red.
And that is true nickel, because all these kara have nickels in that, and nickel is a very common known allergens.
Okay. Um, so, biggest question: can a newborn get an allergy?
E- Theoretically, if you ask me, yes, newborn can get allergy, and that allergic reactions to the newborn can be secondary to, more commonly, is the medications what we use. And because body immune system of newborn is still developing, hasn't matured to that age what it needed needed to react to different antigen. And second thing, exposure to these antigen is not that common in that age, because we are keeping the newborn protected in various ways. And the breastfeeding itself gives a lot of protection for against various allergens and boosting our immune system. So if we ask in a theoretical way, definitely can get commonly to antibiotics or other medication like penicillin and other things being given. But to other allergens are generally less common because hasn't been exposed to the world.
Okay, thank you. So, what is the common types of allergy during this time of the year? Again, this time of the year has been a bit weird, but we've got sunshine today.
So if we go theoretically by the the four season and springs, So then definitely in this time of the year, more commonly we have aero allergies, like allergies to pollen. And commonly you the pollen in our in Victoria's are the Bermuda grass, byegrass, and the ryegrass pollens. So that happens when the strong wind comes with the dry weather, and suddenly these pollens go up in the air, and then the storms comes and bring this pollen down and spread it to the community. And that's where this lot of allergic reactions happens. And could be a simple way, it's a simple like a hay fever, every day, which is a very common thing. I think probably around 20% or more than 20% of Victorians suffer from allergies, hay fever. It's such a common thing. It may be mild for someone, and it can be very severe for, can be life sort of a debilitating in that way, interfering with your academic life, interfering with your social life, your work life. If you keep sneezing again and again, your nose is simply dribbling, and you try to wipe it off. Your nose is so itchy, your eyes can be so itchy, sometimes can be swollen red, that you can't have a good vision. It's more of a hazy vision. So this is the more common type of allergies in this season happen. Second to this can happen the pollen induce other, affecting the system, like more commonly is asthma. The
Asthma. I
pollen
was going to
induced
ask you
asthma.
about asthma.
Yeah.
Yes.
So pollen induced asthma is another common thing what we see. If you remember in the news in 2018, if I remember correctly, there was a sort of a thunderstorm
Yes.
asthma
That was. Yep.
attack
Yep.
happened, and widely, the community has been affected, and few people unfortunately died because we were not very well prepared at that time, and it is the first of its kind impact happened on our community. And that is the thunderstorm asthma, which was caused by a ryegrass pollen. And that is still a common, and particularly it causes attack in the early morning, like 2 to 4 a.m. in the morning, when the pollen count is very, very, very high. You wake up in the morning or middle of the night, you wake up and you're having cough episodes or fits of cough you're having, or you're feeling a bit uneasy, taking a little bit of a difficulty in breathing, and by the time the morning happen, you feel a bit of a itchiness in your throat, nose is a bit stuffed up, sneezing a lot most of the time, and then you start feeling having a bit of a cough, and breathing difficulty starts. And and that is the thunderstorm asthma. In some patients it can be very severe, and some can be a very mild one. So since then, we have learned that we need to take appropriate precautions for our thunderstorm asthma, so that we can prevent these attacks to happen, number one, or if it happen, we can detect it early, not ending up in a hospital setting.
I know ABC keeps putting up. If, there are always news stories during thunderstorms that be careful of asthma, the pollen count, and all that. So I think the media is also doing their bit, because I read it a few months ago when there was a severe thunderstorm, and they warned about people who had asthma to just be careful.
Absolutely, and that's what generally I recommend to all of my patients, and in general to community too. There's a Melbourne Pollen app, and always download that pollen app. You can get it, both in an Android and app, iPhone, and that gives you, if you put the notification on, and that gives you every morning a notification comes if the pollen count is high or extreme. High, very high, extreme. So it comes in a mild, moderate, high, very high, and an extreme range. So if it is high, very high, and extreme range, that is means is they, for people, children, those who have known underlying allergies, hay fever, are likely to be a bad one. So either they should be using a face mask. Now we are very much used to face mask and know value of face mask much more than earlier, and there is not much of a social pressure wearing the face mask. So I generally recommend, if you are allergic to a pollen count, you have a hay fever, you have underlying bronchial asthma already known, or you had attack of thunderstorm asthma in the past, you should use face mask. It gives a lot of protection, not only from COVID, but also from pollen. Number two, you carry a steroid nasal spray with you, or start using nasal spray at night before if you know that this is going to be dry weather the whole of the week. Use a nasal spray. And second thing, if you're non-bronchial asthma, carry Ventolin with you. Keep using a Fluoxetide Junior or Fluoxetide as a preventer if you are using on that. So keeping a precaution and having a preventive measure taken at a rightly time, it can be very, very useful and can protect you to sort of prevent you to go to the hospital setting in emergency.
Thank you. You've answered my next question. So, can allergies be genetic?
In a major term, it is yes. Look, allergies is, I would say, let's take it in this way. There is a something which make you prone, and that is the genetic factor. And another thing, what brings it to surface is the environment where you are. And you are Indian, and I'm pretty sure you are grown up in India or Indian subcontinent or even in Fiji, where allergy rate overall is very low.
Yep.
Okay, but it does not mean that we are protected from allergies. Our genetic makeup is in that way that we can have allergies, but it is the environment which brings to the surface, and other environmental factor like how much the dry weather it is, how much the pollen count is around, how much the hygiene is in that area. So that's where the hygiene hypothesis play an important role. So genetically you are prone, but in Indian subcontinent, hygiene is not that much. So from the very early young age, your body immune system is tuned or modulated in that way. You are more sort of a protected to these allergies, and overall allergy rate is very, very low. But if the same genetic makeup people come to Australia or to UK, then because the weather here is very, very dry and environmental protective factors are not there, like which I mentioned about the hygiene hypothesis. So we are living in a very hygienic world here. So the normal bacteria, the infections, which make your immune system more strong, or tune into that way that we become more protective to our these allergies, and that factor is removed. So all this genetic makeup which made you prone to get allergies now it brings to the surface. And that's why sometimes I see many patients in my clinic and say, doctor, we never heard of a cow milk protein allergies. How can you be allergic to a cow milk? We've been generations drinking this cow milk back in India, buffalo milk back in India.
Yep.
How can be nuts you can be allergic to nuts and cashews and almonds and पोटेशियो बादाम का दूध तो हम बचपन से पीते हैं वो तो हमेशा सेहत के लिए अच्छा होता है मेरे माँ बाप ने बोला. So that degree of concept which is we have, it's right over there in that circumstances, but our genetic makeup hasn't changed. The environment has changed around us, and that has brought this allergy to the surface.
Thank you. Now I know why I have lactose intolerance, because in India I didn't have. Um, this may sound like a very stupid question, but I'll ask anyway. Is there one common medicine that can treat these common allergies? I know for asthma you can't. I mean, asthma is totally different, and maybe
Look,
we talk about asthma another day, because I hear more and more people. But for hay fever, I know you get over the counter, but any common medicine that people should keep, especially for children?
Look, there is, take it in one single word in this way, there is no medication so far which can treat allergies. Not even a single allergy. I'm not talking about all the allergies. Even a single allergy cannot be treated by medications. We don't have any medications. So far, whatever our medications we give, it is either to prevent some of the effect of allergy attacks to come, or to treat it, to control the symptoms when the allergy comes. So two different things. Prevent the allergy to come, And second thing, if it has come, to prevent, to control the, treat the symptoms of allergies. Like suppose you have taken some medications or some food which has caused all the rashes over your body and it's been very itchy. We suggest you take antihistaminic,
Yep.
like a quarantine areas, that type of thing. So that is preventing the allergy symptoms. It will give you a bit of a relief. It will be less itchy, and then body will control by its own natural process the allergic reactions, and rashes will disappear by itself. So we are not giving any medications to treat the rashes. It is body will take its own course. So we are just giving a symptomatic relief. For hay fever, as I said, when we know this is a hay fever, we suggest the nasal spray. Take the nasal spray as a preventive, not when you start sneezing, it's going to be effective. I suggest generally take a Nasonex or Evermist nasal spray every night before you go to bed. So hopefully you wake up with minimum allergy symptoms in the morning. Particularly pollen allergy when it's combinations with a dust mite allergy, and dust mite is in your linens, your bedding, your pillow cover, your soft toys, and the children generally sleep with them, and that cause allergy more in the night time. So that's why I suggest take these medications in the night before going to bed.
What about children, Raj?
Yeah, it's the same way. Both in adult and children is the same way. Yes, there is some new therapies are coming up, like a immunotherapy, which by which some children can get rid of these allergies, like a sort of a treatment. What you're asking, but it is a quite expensive. It's a long treatment for 2 3 years, oral and injection, and we give a very selective people group of people where like it start affecting your significant quality of life in terms of you're not able to sleep well every night, you're snoring, your adenoid removed but still you continue to have snoring, and that sort of things we say, yeah, you need immunotherapy.
Thank you. Um, can allergies be life threatening?
Yes, absolutely.
Is
And
it asthma?
look, more than asthma, what I want to talk about is life threatening. Generally, it happens because of lack of our awareness, lack of accepting that allergy can be life threatening, lack of knowledge, or not taking adequate precaution when you are known allergic, and not taking the adequate precautions what needed to be done. That can be life threatening. And the most common life threatening allergies are the nuts allergies.
Oh, really? Even amongst us?
Yes, absolutely. In all ages, the most common allergies which is life threatening are nuts allergy. And the commonly the nut which cause problem is number one is peanut, and then it comes to the cashews and pistachios. All sort of nuts can cause like what we call as a tree nut. You can you could be almond, you could be peanut, you could be hazelnut. All type of nuts can cause allergy, but generally cashew pistachio, number one is the peanut allergy. Peanut allergy is the most nasty type of allergy. It can be life threatening, and simply if you google and you will see there's so many deaths have happened in Australia, in Victoria, secondary to nuts allergy. Allergy, which is, if you have a one, the message I would like to give, and which I gave earlier also, if you have a known bronchial asthma and you know you have a hay fever, allergy generally comes as a package. So when the combination starts happening, allergies with asthma, this definitely can be life threatening if the adequate precautions not taken and treatment is not taken on time. And that's where I always stress, keep an eye on thunderstorm, asthma's Melbourne pollen app. And if you have a known asthma, you have a known allergies, take adequate precaution, take Evermist or Nasonex nasal spray. Take Preventer if you are taking Preventer with you. Take Ventolin with you. Generally, I suggest always keep a oral steroid at home as written prescriptions from your GP. So if you know tomorrow is going to be extreme pollen count and you started having symptoms, take prednisolone steroid. Early stages, it's more effective. It can be life saving. On the other hand, other allergy which we're talking about, nuts allergy, if you know you had anaphylaxis in the past, anaphylaxis is a life threatening.
Yep.
And the most commonly accident happen in school where the children share their food. Though almost every school in Victoria, there is a
You
no
cannot
food
have. Yep.
sharing,
Yep.
no food sharing policies, but still sharing happen at student level. I check with my daughter, she's 12-year-old, and almost every week they share food. Despite the fact I tell her everything, but when it comes to the real practical level of when they eat in their lunchtime and recess time together and they get attracted to each other food and they do share. And the and majority of if we parents patients particularly Indian subcontinent patients, if they take any of the Indian curries with that has got nuts in that. If you talk about your butter chicken or chicken tikka masala, they all have a nut, crushed pistachio, cashew, or peanut to make a curry. Almost all Chinese foods has got nuts. So that's where we need to be very, very cautious when we go to the restaurant. What food you can eat, what you cannot eat. So the precaution is a more important thing, and it can be life saving.
Um, so this is something that I keep reading in um, Facebook groups where women are constantly talking about homeopathy and herbal medicines to cure everything. What do you
Yep.
think?
Look, I got a very limited knowledge of homeopathy and allopathy, I mean, homeopathy and Ayurveda, and but lack of knowledge does not mean it does not have any impact. It does not mean it's not effective. So it may be effective, but it's hard for me to comment. But what I can say that many medications, the initial medications, we, we use in allopathy in our day-to-day practice here has come from plants. And like if I remember the malaria medication, chloroquine has come from plants. Heart failure medication has come from plants. Our blood thinning medication has come from plants. It has come from the idea of where our old, kings and kingdoms and army, they used to use something put at the tip of the arrow, the poison plants, to
Yes.
paralyze and to paralyze the enemy or to cause bleeding in enemy, and that's causing the blood thinning. So all the anesthesia which is coming paralysis has come from plants. So like you must have heard, there was a couple of days ago there was a spinach poisoning. The
Yes. Yes.
spinach was,
Yeah. The recall. Yes.
yeah, contaminated with weed, and weed causing hallucination and extreme degree of dizziness, and that means that weed was affecting the CNS. So these plants, they have their own qualities. What we use in Ayurveda and homeopathy, it's not purified. It's more crude form we use. But when it comes to the allopathy, it's more purified and the contamination part is taken out. So I would say, look, if your Ayurveda homeopathy doctor confident about that and you have a faith and trust, I won't say no, you should not go. But don't mix all pathies together.
Yep. Thank you. Um, as parents of children, what are the two numbers that you would suggest parents keep handy?
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
As parents of young children, what are the two numbers that you would suggest parents keep handy? What numbers should they have? Of course, their GP, but suppose the GP closes at a certain time, and if there is a severe allergic reaction and parents need to reach the doctors or get medication, what is the best number to call?
Look, if this emergency happen and you know your child is anaphylactic, always ring ambulance and take to the emergency.
Okay, so triple zero.
Anaphylaxis, nothing should not be managed even in a GP center, should not be managed in anywhere else. And it is a life threatening and time is essential. And earlier we reach, we can save the life. But important thing to me, the message which I want to give it to community is when to recognize for the help. If your child is having unexpected, you have taken some food, suppose, or some material, or even though something nothing has eaten, but your child is or adult, any person is having repeated vomiting. So I mean, vomiting with tummy pain is happening, feeling dizzy or collapsed, or having diarrhea. After eating some food, having within 1 hour having rashes over the body. Within 1 hour having a breathing difficulty. A child with asthma, the asthma is suddenly flaring up. That means it is an absolute urgency. You should call the ambulance and take to the emergency. But if your child, you eaten something, otherwise child is healthy, talking, having some rashes, which may be spreading, but no vomiting, no diarrhea, no tummy pain, no breathing difficulty, and don't need to panic with that. You can take to GP, or if you have a antihistaminic like Clarentine areas, give immediately to at least depending upon the age to that child. If it's a liquid 5 ml, 2.5 ml, or 5 ml, so like a 2.5 ml generally less than 2 years, 5 ml more than that, and if more than 6 years, one tablet of Clarentine would be enough. And see, at least it will give you some time to think about. That's what I would strongly recommend.
Thank you, Raj. uh, Thank you very much for joining tonight. I know we had a different time. I look forward to seeing you next year. And happy
Absolutely.
holidays, happy new year, and we'll talk soon. Thank you
Same,
so much.
same to you, and happy Christmas and happy New Year to all the audience. And we'll
Absolutely.
definitely meet next year again.
Okay. Thank you, Raj. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Bye.
Soya. Thank you. Bye.